Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Desk. I'm your host, as always, Brock, Wisconsin. I'd like to welcome you back and discuss the opening, thrilling debut week of the Chaos Reigns Invitational. In the first matchup of the week, the Butt Fumblers took on 1991 Tecmo Bowl champion, and they destroyed them by a score of 49.75 to negative 51. It was frankly an embarrassing effort on the behalf of Tecmo Bowl champion manager Vince, who started multiple players who did not even play in the games, including one player who retired multiple days before the game and scored him negative 10 in multiple player slots for the week. Butts was blessed by the performance of Younghoe Koo of the Falcons, who missed a 40-plus yard field goal and scored 10 points for a kicker tackle. In our second matchup of the day, Blitz Zone Daniel took on Miller High Life Enthusiast. In a relatively uncontested match, Blitz Zone Daniel won by a score of 31.5 to 5.25. Blitz Zone Daniel was blessed by 20-point performances from Tony Pollard and Tyler Loop. Pollard had a lost fumble, and Loop both had a missed extra point and the coveted plus 10 kicker tackle bonus. On the side of Miller High Life Enthusiast, he could not overcome two minus 10 penalties on the backs of Tyler Lockett and Van Jefferson doing absolutely nothing. Daniel Jones' debut for the Colts, he was betting on that going bad, and unfortunately it went well. And Daniel Jones scored 2 rushing touchdowns, which sunk his hopes for the day. And in our final matchup, what may be a contested matchup in the rule set, we will determine soon. Peaches from McCann defeated Laces Out by a score of 36.25 to 31. Both QBs turned in fantastic performances. Bryce Young with a score of 17.25 and Cam Ward with a score of 21. Bryce Young was blessed with 2 picks and a fumble, and Cam Ward fumbled as well. It was a hotly contested matchup, but both players did receive minus 10 points each, one for starting a player with no stats who in fact sat the game, and Laces Out for not starting a cat team. Multiple teams in the league this week received penalties for not starting cat team players. It seems like it's easier to find bird team players than cat team players who suck, but these penalties may be determined to be raised as the season goes on because managers are not following them. That's it for this week in Chaos Reigns Invitational, and we hope to see you next week. Tune in for more.